that. So what are some ways that we can make sure that these funnels and these deadlines are authentic?
Number one, use deadline funnel. but but so if it's an so first of all, how do you make sure that they're authentic? One of the things that I teach is how to make sure that the people who are receiving your emails and attending your Facebook lives and attending your webinars know that it is authentic, because other people, like, some people are skeptical and jaded, and if you're using technology such as ours that is going to make it a real deadline, you want to make sure that people aren't doubting that. So, what are some ways that this isn't exactly what you asked, I recognize, but I think people get value from hearing, how do you communicate that this is a real deadline? And there's several different ways. One of them is, if you're doing, this would work in a live launch situation or an evergreen funnel. You can have, and I would highly recommend you have either a fast action deadline or an early bird deadline, something before the final deadline. And what that does is that communicates, it's the concept of show don't tell. It communicates very clearly these deadlines are real. Because if you've got a fast action bonus and people miss out on it, they're going to see, okay, that's no longer there. This is real. This is not play. So this last deadline, this is the real deal. Another way that you can do it is, number one. So this comes down to enforcing your deadline. So when people miss the deadline, they're going to have my dog ate my homework and my alarm didn't go off type of excuses. So everyone's got to run their own business their own way. But I think that everything that you're doing in your business is either increasing your credibility or hurting your credibility. And so I would recommend that you enforce a deadline and you say, I'm sorry, for XYZ reason, and we'll make sure that you know about it the next time that's made available. And try to handle that customer with care and kindness, but a firm no. Take a screenshot of that. Of course, remove the client's name and email and personal details, but use that as in your email marketing. Say, look, just in case, like, I want to make sure that you understand this is in fact a real deadline. Here's, like, the last time that this happened. Last time that we made this available, people and a few people that had missed the deadline requested it, and here's what we told them. And so you see proof that you are in fact enforcing your deadline. So it's a very, very clear way to demonstrate. So, kind of going back to what I was talking about building proof much earlier in the conversation, I think that there's a lot of different proof elements that people overlook, and this is one of them. So it's not just proof that clients have used your stuff and it works. There's lots of different areas where, like, anytime that you make a claim in your messaging at all, there's probably a way for you to prove it and back it up. And if I could just take it, like, I know we're going off on a tangent here, but I did a demonstration. So one of the things that we tout is the ability for Deadline Funnel to track people, across different devices, because you certainly don't want someone who sign up from their home office for your 5-day promotion, but then on the last day they happen to be standing in line at Starbucks back, pre-COVID, wherever they happen to be, and they're on their device and they're reading the email and they go, oh, that's right, I gotta take action on this. So they click through and they see a different deadline. You don't want that to happen. So Deadline Funnel solves that. Well, it's one thing for me to say that. It's one thing, and some people might even hear lots of other clients, and we have that in our testimonials. But I want to step further. The last time, this was years ago, but when I flew from the US to Australia, I thought, what a cool demonstration this would be if I filmed this. So I'm in the Jacksonville, Florida airport. I start myself as a new prospect in an active campaign sequence that's 5 days long, get on the plane, go to Australia. 2 days later, I'm still semi-recovered from jet lag. I go with my daughter to the nearest Apple store. We buy an iPad. I unwrap it, hit the button that pulls all my stuff over from iCloud, but it's a new device, new country, like, everything's new. There's no reason why Deadline Funnel should be able to track me and know how many days are left on my deadline. But sure enough, I open up the email and boom, it's got the correct countdown. And so that's a powerful demonstration that, had you not seen that, you might have thought, well, but does it really work in all these different situations? So it just seemed like a great opportunity to demonstrate, look, not many of your clients are going to fly to another country, open up another iPad and read your emails. But if they do, it's going to work even in that situation. And so I talked about a few different ways that you can make sure that people know that it is in fact a real deadline. Because if people doubt the deadline, like if it is a real deadline but people don't believe that it's a real deadline, then you're going to have the same problem, because it's only to the extent that they believe that it's a real deadline that it's actually going to do its job. um, but yeah, I don't know how to answer that, beyond I mean, I would. We always tell our clients, make sure that you test your funnel before you go through, before you set it live, and that's super super important. But besides using the right technology, if you use the right technology, then it's going to be real, even though it's automated.
But speaking of communicating that deadline to your clients, I've heard before other interviews you've done, you send multiple emails on that last day. Like you definitely communicate the fact that that deadline is coming up. And I was just curious about kind of the ideology of sending multiple emails in a day, because I feel like some people are afraid to even send 2 emails in a week, but you're perfectly comfortable sending multiple in a day. So can you kind of walk me through where that comfort level comes from?
Well, so one of the things that I talk about in some of my presentations is that, with one of the benefits of setting up an evergreen funnel, there's lots of them, but one of the benefits is that you only have to be brave once. So once you set up your email sequence and you muster up the courage to set up those 3 emails on the last day, then you can forget about it and move on with the rest of your work. But enjoy the benefits of that one smart decision. I've never had someone come back to me and say, either I followed your advice of 3 emails on the last day and it did not increase sales, or I sent 3 emails on the last day and my business tanked because everyone hates me now. Like, it's the only keep in mind that you should be pulling people out of your marketing sequence, and you should stop selling to them when they buy. So don't sell past the sale. So your system should put them in the software world, we call an onboarding sequence, but whether you call it a nurture sequence, a love sequence, onboarding sequence, whatever you like to call it, help them get lots and lots of value very, very quickly, get that first win, that first big aha as quickly as possible once they become a client. Stop selling to them. So the people who purchase, whether it's let's say someone waits until the last day, when they get that morning email, if they purchase, they're not going to get the next two. If they purchase in the midday email, they're not going to get the third one. So the only people who are going to get 3 emails are the folks who haven't purchased. Hopefully, the people who are going into your marketing funnel, hopefully you're using messaging like ads that match. You're attracting people that want to be in this type of sequence. There's some sort of match to what originally got them into the sequence. You didn't use clickbait or anything like that, deception, to bring them into this funnel. So there should be your messaging should be really tight to why they're in this marketing sequence in the first place. So the other thing is that I would highly recommend that at the bottom of your emails, like while they're in this focused promotion, at the bottom of your emails, before the unsubscribe link that your email service provider puts at the very bottom of your email, put a link that would allow them to, it's PS, if you don't want to receive any more of these messages, but you want to stay on my list, just click here, and give them the option to say, you know what, this topic just doesn't interest me. I'm not going to buy your stuff, but I still might want to stay on your list. So that again would pull them out of that sequence so that they don't have to get any more of those emails. So the only people who are going to be getting those emails are people who either aren't opening your emails, they signed up and they're not opening them at all, or people who haven't taken action yet. But I don't know if you've had this experience, Jacob, but I know I've had this experience multiple times where I'm on someone's list and I'm super interested in what it is they have to offer, and I'm reading their emails and I'm really really interested, and I'm watching their stuff. But even though I'm the deadline guy, like I tell myself this lie, like, oh, I'm gonna buy this. I'll just wait until the last day, and then they only send me one email, and then I forget, and then I'm mad because I'm not able to, like, I actually wanted to buy that, but I missed out. So people, when you send 3 emails on the last day, what you're going to find is that people are purchasing even on that last email, and it's shocking. Like human. It's a little bit frustrating and disappointing that human beings procrastinate so much. But we have to deal with the world as it is, and people procrastinate. And if you don't send those 3 emails the last day, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So I would recommend that you try it, and let me know if it doesn't work for you. You would be, whoever tells me would be the first to tell me that it doesn't work.